We are allegedly live again.
All right.
I'd love for that to be true.
So I do see it, so that's a
Okay.
good sign.
That does feel like a good sign.
Uh, Okay.
Okay.
All right. Take two. We're on take two of the live episode of 19 o'clock news. Apologies if you happen to come into the live chat before, which I think we had somebody, because I
So,
saw it was three watching at the very
ooh.
end of that.
Oh, of course. Classic.
All right, let's do Twitter again.
Okay.
I will retweet your post unless you want me to do it, which I'm cool with that.
I am one step ahead of you, my friend. Just
All
gonna post
right.
that real quick.
Okay.
Alrighty. 19 o'clock. News Live is live. If you saw the last announcement tweet that we deleted, okay. Actually, okay. Tweeted and now turning off the Wi Fi on my phone and other devices because I don't want this to crash again.
Yeah.
Okay. Whew, we're
Okay.
here. It's
We
fine.
are here. We are free. We are everything.
That we are. Okay. I have.
Okay.
We're just going to let my little computer focus on making this broadcast work. And that's what I would like to do today. So if you wouldn't mind keeping me posted on any chat things that come through, because I don't want to have anything else open that does not need to be open right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm
I'll
very
keep
worried about
tabs.
getting kicked off for a third time, so I'm just trying to.
Yeah, I'm just gonna turn off my phone.
I think your Wi-Fi seems to be fine. I
Yeah,
think it's
I'm
it's me.
just
I'm the problem.
well,
Um,
well, hey, it's me. I'm the problem. It's sorry. Sorry.
real. It's me. Actually, my car, my keychain for my car keys is a Taylor Swift keychain with those lyrics on them. So
Oh, really?
yes,
Nice.
it was a lovely thought. I had an aunt who thought I was a Swiftie, and I'm not a Swiftie, but I don't feel like I'm allowed to describe myself as such. You know.
I'm, yeah, I'm definitely not a Swiftie. I used to like her like 10 years ago, and then
Mm-hmm.
I kept seeing her constantly, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm tired of looking at Taylor Swift.
Fair. She is sort of an ever-present force.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she literally is a force of nature. So I know this has nothing to do with Kodocha, but um,
People
over
know
the
what they're getting
summer,
into. They know us.
I had went to go see this concert with my husband, and it wasn't Taylor Swift, but Taylor Swift happened to be playing the same night as the act we were going to see. We were going to see the band Garbage with Noel Gallagher and Metric, and and I remember the drive home after Taylor Swift was this horrible thunder, lightning, storm, just awful.
Mm.
And we had to drive really slow all the way back home because the concert was about 45 minutes away from our house.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she is literally a force of nature. I truly believe that
I
because
love
of
it.
that experience.
Yeah. No, that's super valid. I mean, yeah. I feel like we all have the stage very long histories with Taylor Swift. I mean, I think her first album came out like probably around the same time I found Kodocha, TBH.
I
um
see.
And I've just kind of she's always been like sort of this ever present musician. And I listened to the albums and I quite enjoy them. She's never made like my personal favorite artist status, but I do really enjoy her nonetheless. So, whew.
So Retro Nova has entered the chat.
There
So
he is.
hello.
Hey,
I said
pal.
hello in the chat as well.
Excellent. Thank you for keeping me posted. I feel blind. Because
Oh,
on
no
my end, I
worries.
wish I could show you what I'm seeing because I've got this like it looks like almost video editing software open on my other monitor. It's just funny, but
I
yeah.
tell you what, my Wi-Fi seems to be doing okay, but now I
Oh,
can't seem to open Twitter. Oh, okay, there we go.
that I'm like that could be Wi-Fi, that could be Twitter. Like
Yeah, who
it's
knows these
amazing what
days?
cutting 90% of your staff will do for a website. Um,
Right.
incredible.
All right. So we have four people watching. So hello.
Hi, friends.
Hi. Hi, Starbot.
Ooh, should you put the link in the Discord real quick?
Should I put the what?
The link to the live in the Discord.
Oh, yes, that's a great idea.
Get more friends to come over, and we can start asking and answering some questions, of which we actually got. I didn't really expect that many people to submit things, frankly, so I was pretty pleased by the response when we asked everybody what they thought and if they had any questions, and to tell us why they love Kodocha.
Same. I was blown away when I opened it to look over it again today, and it's just like every single time I opened it to look, we got like three more questions.
That's wild. Everybody's so sweet and nice. I was so surprised, pleasantly surprised, I should say. Um, yeah, that's really good. Should we? Is it time? Should we?
Let me just make this quick post in
Oh,
the
my bad, my bad.
Discord. You're good.
Again, I'm blind. I don't know what's happening.
Okay. All right. So I just posted in the Discord, tagged everybody. We're good. All right. Okay.
Woohoo!
So
Alrighty.
I guess we can go ahead and start answering the questions.
Sounds good. Which one do we want to
Um,
start with?
Oh, I
There's
thought
so
we were
many
gonna
good
go in
ones.
order.
Just go from the top.
Yeah, let's do
Which
it.
which one's the top for you? Is it the one from Yen?
Yes. So we have a
Cool.
question from Yin. So I guess I can start. I can
Go
read the
for it.
question here.
Yeah.
So this question was submitted by Yin, and she asked, let me redo this. With old shoujo anime shows making comebacks and turning into reboots the last couple of years, what are your thoughts on the possibility of a Kodocha remake or season continuation? Do you think Kodocha would appeal to enough of the younger anime fans to be on a more mainstream level?
Whew. That's a multi-part, semi-loaded question, dear Yen. Um, I think I am a bit of a Debbie Downer when it comes to the possibility of a reboot. But if I do think that if it was going to happen, it would be a reboot. I don't really think that they would do a season continuation. It's been a little too long, I think. It's not quite like Kimi ni Todoke, which of course there was a decade in between those as well, but it's been twice that at this stage for Kodocha. So I do think that they'd probably start it over completely. And I do think that Kodocha absolutely can appeal to younger anime fans and be more mainstream. I am a little, I don't say worried is the right word, but sometimes you see the discourse with different shoujo love interests and things on Twitter and stuff, and I'm just like, oh my god, I don't know if anybody who doesn't already know the series would be willing to put in the time to let Akito finish his I'm a shitty person arc, before
See,
they would immediately
that's
write him off. And that's something I'm worried about. Like, don't touch him.
see,
That is my boy.
that's where I think we disagree because
Okay.
I do agree with you on the fact that there probably won't be like a season continuation. Like I don't think there'll be season three. If there's anything, it'll be a reboot. Which I really think is going to happen eventually, just my opinion.
Mm,
But who knows? I try to be optimistic. I guess I'm the optimistic one in our
you are.
little.
It's you.
But I disagree. I just don't see if they make it like the original, like if they reboot it and they keep in all that kind of wacky comedy that's from the original series, I don't think it's gonna do well.
Mm,
With I don't know. It's kind of hard to say because I've seen memes like making fun of like Gen Z humor, right? And they make fun of how like off the wall Gen Z humor is. And Kodocha kind of has that going for it. Like it's kind of there's moments that are just really random. But again, like I also feel like that kind of plays into the whole Aikido growth thing. I
mm,
don't think Gen Zers are going to have the patience for that. I feel like it's going to be one of those things where oh, we're going to reboot Kodocha, and then you go on Twitter like after like the first season drops, and like there's going to be Twitter posts about how toxic Keto is. But
y-
that's just my opinion.
yeah,
Um,
it's a.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. It's kind of a similar concern that I have. I mean, I've noticed lately that people tend to make up their minds about a show, and two things with a lot of series have been having weekly releases with each new season instead of being dropped all at once, and so people are really only giving one or two, maybe three episodes to something before making a decision about it altogether. And like, you're not Team Akito by episode three in Kodocha, at
Right.
least not if it's structured similarly to how it was in the manga or even the original anime. So I'm not sure. And it's one of those things where it's like, I would love this. I would love this so much. I want everybody to love this as much as I do. But there's also a part of me where I'm like, I also don't. Right now, we have a very nice, sweet community who like gets the show and gets what it's about and understands it and loves it for what it is. And the
Hmm.
minute we open that up to a much larger thing, Daily Kodocha will
Yeah.
be fighting for our lives, defending our characters on the internet from new people who don't get it.
Yes.
You know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
I've already experienced that actually on my YouTube channel a bit
Mm.
with my videos that have gone viral. So I know those of you who follow me on Twitter, which I see the people in the chat. I think everybody in the chat right now follows me on Twitter. Um, but like I get comments where like they don't really seem to understand like I guess character arcs that aren't
Yeah.
they don't
It's called
involve fighting and
development,
things like
baby.
that.
Takes a minute to develop.
Yeah, so it's frustrating.
Yeah. Ugh.
So we actually have a question in the chat from Retro Nova.
Hey, pal.
What about a live action Kodocha movie?
Oh,
What do you
that would
think
be
about that?
so sick. I'd be all over that. Give it to me. I live for a live action adaptation of an anime. Those are some of my favorite pieces of media. I just adore them. And I think it would be super fun.
So we do have the 2015 or 2016. I think it's 20.
2016, the stage show, yeah.
Yeah,
And
we have that, but like an actual like movie.
I meant like a
I think
movie.
honestly, now that I think about it, I feel like that might be more likely than a reboot.
Ooh, maybe. Maybe, especially because I think putting together something like that would be. Actually, I'm not really sure if it would be easier to get like funding to put together something like that. If it would be cheaper to do a live action adaptation, or if it would be cheaper to do like a 25 episode reboot. Um, I don't know, or how much money either really makes. I don't know what the box office is like on those live action adaptations, if they make back
Yeah.
their initial investment or not. But
I
Discotheque, just I think the Lovely Complex one is up for pre-order soon, and that trailer sent me. I haven't seen it, but I'm like, am I gonna buy this? It looks so silly and fun. I want it.
I've already got the pre-order. That was one of those anime that I watched in like 5 different parts on
Oh,
YouTube
yes.
back in the day.
Hmm.
And yeah,
As our ancestors did,
I
yes.
right. I never finished it, so now I'm like, all right, I want to finish this anime after all these years, and now that it's got a brand new dub and everything, I'm really excited for that. So that comes out like January 30th, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, so we have another question in the chat from Benjamin Pendragon. Um, Speaking of live actions, did you like the Cowboy Bebop series? Did you watch that, Em?
I didn't, because you want to know? I'm still watching the original Cowboy Bebop. And I'm enjoying it quite a bit, but it's one of those things that it's easy to put down because while there are overarching themes and like an overarching arc, at least the stage of the series that I'm in at this point, it's been kind of like episodic. And so it's
Mhm.
just one of those things where I'm like, I would like to sit down and watch some art today. Because that is to me what Cowboy Bebop is. Cowboy Bebop is art. It is beautifully done show. I'm very obsessed. But I haven't like
Oh,
binged it
absolutely.
the same way I have other series. It's one of those, it's like a nice rich chocolate that you save for a special occasion. So
I 100% agree. I actually have like a really I have a personal like connection to that series. Like there's something I think about every time I think about or watch that series. Which I want to answer the question first. I know I
mm,
haven't seen the live action. I'm gonna maybe give it a shot. I've heard mixed things about it, so I feel like it's one of those things you gotta watch and if it's for you, it is. If it's not, it's not. But as for the anime, oh my gosh, yeah, it's definitely my top 10. It
mm,
was one of the first animes I ever binged. And so every time I think about Cowboy Bebop, I always think about I was in, let's see, I think I was in my last year of middle school or might have been my first year of high school. And me and my friend, he was a neighbor at the time. So sometimes I'd go over to his place and we watch anime with like some of his other friends and his sister, and like it'd be like a whole event. And Cowboy Bebop was like the one that like we all really got into, and like we actually like made a plan like to binge the series, or at least the rest of it that we had, which I think we had about half of it left, and we planned one night to like just chill at his house and order pizza and binge Cowboy Bebop. And I remember like it was just a really fun experience watching all of those episodes together, and like it was one of my favorite moments in my life, like memories with my friends that I have, is watching Cowboy Bebop. So it's a very special anime to me.
oh, that's really wholesome. I love that. I started watching it because my tattoo artist told me to. Um,
Oh, cool.
because it's her favorite series, and she was like, "You have to watch Cowboy Bebop," and I was like, "Yes, ma'am. I will go do that." And then I started doing that. So, it's one of those things where the show is so famous and so sort of present that like I already knew the vague premise. I could identify all the characters. My husband had actually already bought the vinyl of the soundtrack, even though we'd never watched an episode. Like, just it was around. I knew of it. I just hadn't
Mhm.
really sat down to watch it, but I've been pleasantly surprised by it and really enjoying it.
Yeah, it's great, and I definitely second that. It is a work of art. Okay, so we have another question in the chat from Taylor. And
Hello.
you'll have to excuse me because I'm a bit of an old person when it comes to some of these anime terms, so I'm probably gonna mispronounce this, so I apologize. I feel like my weeaboo status should be revoked for this, but okay.
License and
Do you
registration.
Okay, so Taylor asks, do you guys have a favorite reverse isekai series?
Reverse
I S
isekai.
Isekai
You're
series?
you got it. You got it. Isekai is like dot hack or I don't know. There are so many. I'm blanking on all of them. I think that's
I'll have to like
there.
Google it
It's
because
a it
I
means when you're like trapped in another world often.
oh, okay.
So like that kind of thing. I'm gonna be honest, Taylor. I don't know what a reverse isekai is. Is that when you're trapped
I
in
don't
like the real
either.
world? Is that when you're trapped by existence?
Is that like that one, The Devil's a Part-Timer? Would that be considered a reverse
Oh,
isekai?
like a like an ethereal being in our worlds. Like I might have to
I
do
don't
a
know.
Google.
Yeah, I mean that's the only thing I can think of is that particular series because it's literally Satan in the world
Reverse
working at McDonald's.
isekai.
So
A character from another world coming to Earth. Okay. It just occurred to me that technically a little snow fairy sugar qualifies as a reverse isekai.
okay. So Sordisa in the chat has confirmed that yes, Devil's Part-Timer is a reverse isekai.
Got
And
it.
Taylor says it's more like women targeted isekai. So girls going into Atome games.
Oh, like Atome. The games, the like dating sims. There we
I,
go. She got there eventually.
okay.
Did you like
Yeah,
hear my brain stop braining for a minute there? Y'all,
yeah,
this is why we were nervous. I was nervous about this for a lot of reasons, being live, but one of them is that I can't edit out when my brain stops working.
same. And
Yeah.
I'm sitting here, I have to kind of think because like again, I feel like I should my weeb status should be revoked because like I watch a lot of shows, I read a lot of manga, but like I'm not really up to date on all these terms. I feel so bad about it,
Oh
but
my gosh. That's real. I also too like I took such a long break and then I came back to it after like a very long time
same, yeah.
and people are talking about like pro shipping and anti shipping and I'm like we only had just regular shipping last time I was here. What does all of this mean? I had to like completely
Yeah.
re-educate myself
But
because
it's
we
been
invented new
it's
words while I was gone.
yeah. But it's been really fun like being a part of the anime
Yes.
communities
I
again.
missed fandom.
Same here. I feel like I it's like reuniting with a friend you haven't seen for years.
Hmm.
Um,
I love
it's just
that.
really nice. So
Yeah.
I wanna address this one question here before it gets lost in the chat. Because I think it's a really good one. So this is from Sordisa212.
Hey, friend.
What are some of your favorite anime? So I think Kodocha is one of them for me,
Mm.
obviously. What about
Hmm.
you?
For me?
Yeah, what's one of
Oh,
your favorite hidden gem anime?
hidden gem. That is a distinction. Kadocha, I think, really does qualify. I'm like looking around my room now to try to think what else would even be technically considered a hidden gem. You know, because like I love Cardcaptor Sakura, but there's not a lot hidden about that particular gem, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, that was one of the first series I heard about when I was getting into anime when I was younger, actually.
yeah. Okay, let me look at my list of things that I've watched. That's gonna
Okay, so
probably
I
fix my
I have
brain a little
another
bit.
one. Yeah, while you're doing that, I do have another one that might fit. Because a
Okay.
lot of people haven't heard of it, but it seems to be like semi not popular, but like I don't know. It seems to have a cult following,
Mm,
but I really feel like Steins Gate is a hidden gem
mm.
for me.
I knew
It
you were
was
gonna
actually
mention
based,
Steins Gate at least once tonight. I just felt
yes,
it in my bones.
it's based on a visual novel, and it's oh my gosh, it's so good. It's one of the best time travel stories I've ever watched. And I encourage any fan of anime to watch it. And I don't know, like every time I watch that series, I cry too because like the characters go through so much pain because of what's going on with the time travel and the world lines. And I'm like, oh no, like I can't bear to watch Okabe like suffer again and again because he has to go through the same thing over and over because,
Mm.
he's
Hmm.
time traveling.
Oh, that's yeah. Mm.
Oh, and I want to shout out Benjamin here again in the chat. Invader Zim is the best reverse isekai. I second that. I love Invader Zim. I actually watched that for the first time last year because my
Oh,
husband's
really?
like a huge Invader Zim fan.
Oh, wow. To me, like, I can't hear the words Invader and Zim without thinking of just the year 2006 specifically. And like, you'd walk into a Hot Topic and 50% of that store was Gur. And that was just life at that time. So it's just like, ah, oh,
Right.
Invader Zim. That's a name I've not heard in a long time. Um, but yeah, back to the question on the hidden gem uh, conversation. I love Chihaya Faru, which I do feel like barely qualifies as a hidden gem because it is an immensely popular show, but I do feel like is generally underappreciated within animanga fandom. And it's just extremely good. And then the other one would be Saint Tail, which I bought from Discotheque last year just because I want them to do more magical girl titles and ended up being so charmed by and really kind of falling in love with. It's very sweet, almost sugary. It's fantastic. So that's
Yeah, that one's been on my list since you told me
oh,
about it.
it's so cute and fun. It's just and it's I wouldn't say it's like not high stress or anything either. It's very, you know, I don't know, it's just an easy kind of comfort watch. It was one of those things where I was kind of binging it and my husband was like, you know, what's happening? And I'm like, nothing's happening, but I'm having the best time. Like, so yeah,
Do you want to answer the next question from the submission form?
absolutely. So
All right.
Mickey, I'm feeling Miki because of the spelling, asks us, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, Miki. What's your favorite thing about Sana and Kodocha? And I think that the distinction of Sana and Kodocha is important. So, Ari, do you have an answer for Miki's question?
I do. So as for Sana, I would say my favorite thing about her is probably her confidence. Um, I love how she's just always willing to just like step up to whatever situation is thrown her way and just she's ready to throw hands with anybody and everybody, like in every situation. And like that's been something that I've always struggled with, like being confident enough to tackle a problem head on, but she goes for it every
Hmm.
time. Like she's usually not the type to run away from a situation when it gets hard. Like she has her moments of weakness, as we all do, but she's always trying to find solutions, and I love that about her. As for the show, um, that's really hard to say because there's so many things I love about Kadocha, but I guess my favorite thing about the show would be how well it combines comedy and drama. Like I've never seen a show in general, like not just anime, but I've never seen a show that's combined those two elements so well. Like it's just very seamless. But yeah, there
Mm,
it is. That's my answer.
yeah, that's definitely agree with both those things. Specifically the thing about Kodocha being there's something very special about a series that can make you laugh and cry in the same bit, you know.
Mhm.
And I'm never going to take that for granted because I really haven't come across anything else quite like that. In terms of Sana as a protagonist, I would agree with everything you said, Ari. Like she is she's not a passive protagonist, and she's I think very different from a lot of shojo protagonists. In even just based on like her given circumstances and things. There are obviously certain tropes that a lot of shows kind of fall into, and Sana really kind of exists outside of that. So she's a very unique character in that respect as well. But I'd say for me, the thing that I really love and treasure about her is just the fact that she loves so hard and so deeply. And it's something that I really admire and kind of hope to emulate. So love that. Love that girly. She's everything.
Very well said. Yes, I totally agree.
Not
Like
me
I
getting
just
emotional though. She's
uh,
wiping the tears from her eyes before they fall. It's me. Okay. Not gonna cry on
all
the live
right.
show. We'll save that for like the regular episodes.
Of course, of course. We have to have
Yeah,
like every other episode,
we gotta
somebody
have a
has
good
to
cry.
cry. Yes.
I love it.
Okay. Next question in the submissions that we received. So this one's from Retry Alexander. So I would like to mention that Retry wanted us to give a shout out to their friend Ponk. So shout out to
Hello.
Ponk wherever you are on this lovely Friday. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're cozying up and watching Kodocha right now.
Enjoy your
But yeah.
Friday.
Okay, so retry Alexander's question. So let's see here. It's lengthy.
Ooh, what got you two into Kadocha? How were you introduced to it?
Thank you. I was looking at the wrong thing.
Ah.
I was
Oops.
like, yeah, I was like, why is this question so long? Like, oh, it's not a question, it's
It's.
notes.
Oops.
Okay. Um,
It's been a
so do you
while
want to go
since we've
first with
answered.
that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's been a while since we've answered this one on the podcast, or since we've talked about it. I don't think we've talked about what got us into Kadocha since probably the pilot, honestly. So it's been a minute. So for me, I the story is tale as old as time. A 13-year-old girl is babysitting at a family from church's house. They had cable. When the kid went to bed, I was like, I'm going to find me some anime to watch so I can take advantage of this cable situation that I don't have at home. Found the Funimation channel and caught the last probably 7 to 10 minutes of episode 8 of Kodocha, a fruit juice soaked first kiss. Being 13, said, yeah, sold. Absolutely. I would like to see more of that. And watched the rest of the series on YouTube in multiple parts because it was 2006. And then began a deep, lifelong love of the series with varying access to it because it kept getting taken down off YouTube. The DVDs went out of print, and it's been a journey. But that's what got me into Kodocha. Was I just right place, right time, and I'm so very thankful that I happened to be where I was the day I saw it. Ari?
I love your story because I feel like it's so much more interesting than mine because mine's not really that exciting.
I think yours is like algorithm ordained. Like
I guess. So I found Kadocha. It was 2016, and just side note, in 2016, I was probably going through the most difficult time in my life. I didn't have a job. I wasn't in school. I was very depressed. And I was just, I watch YouTube. That was like my thing that I do most of the time, other than gaming. Um, and I saw this anime opening pop up for Kadocha, and I thought the girl in the thumbnail, which was Sana, this looks kind of cute. I clicked on it and I watched the opening, and and I'm gonna be real here. I saw it and I was like, you know what? This anime opening, this I want to watch this because I want to know what's going on with this girl chasing after this boy, taking pictures of him with this camera. Because it was
mm-hmm.
19 o'clock news, and it's interesting because from the opening, it almost looks like she's the one who's like romantically pursuing him.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you watch the show, it's the other way around. So that caught me off guard too when I started the series, which by the way, Kodocha has amazing cliffhangers, which is what kept me hooked from episode one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I saw this opening and I was like, this looks adorable. And I'm not gonna lie, this girl reminds me of how I used to act when I was like 13. So I think I could vibe with this. And then I watched, I would say maybe 3 to 5 episodes a day after that. And it was really the only show that I ever like. consistently every single day watched until the very end. And I'm so happy I did because it became my favorite anime and show very quickly.
It does just sort of get you like from the jump. I mean, I don't know a lot of people that have experienced Kadocha where it didn't, where they had a passive experience with it. You know, like
Mhm.
it's either, I feel like you kind of either you're like, I don't like it, this isn't for me, or like you're in deep at that point. Um, but I think your story is really lovely because, like, if what if I don't know, like the video hadn't populated in your suggested videos when it did, you know, small small blessings.
Yeah,
And then I
it's
wouldn't know you,
I
and we
know,
wouldn't
and
be
that makes me so
friends.
sad.
Me too. Because
But
Kadocha has brought me so many.
seriously though, se- seriously, Kodocha, like just it's brought me so much joy in my life. I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you how and where I should start with that because it's impacted my life in a way that's unique, I think. Because you'll hear people say, "Oh, well, that really impacted my life in some way." But for me, it's like with Kadocha, it's like it's almost like it is my life. I guess I mean I have a channel dedicated to it, but like I kind of made it my life after a while, and I don't know. I feel like every time I watch it or read it, I feel like I gain something from it. So I have total control over my body. Yes, thank you, Miranda. Somebody in the chat said that. Okay. All right. Questions. Okay, so we were talking about how we found Kadocha. So I think we
Oh
were
yeah,
wrapping that up.
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah, I think we were wrapping that up.
Okay. So do you want to or I can read the next question here that
Go
we
for it.
received through submissions. Okay, so this question was from Medley. Do you have any anime that you are watching at the moment?
Do do do. Do you?
I do, and I think it's going to kind of surprise our audience. But the only reason is because I
Is it
got my
Marmalade
husband.
Boy?
Eh, no,
Okay.
never.
There it is. That would surprise our audience.
Oh yeah. The only time I'm ever gonna rewatch that is if I need to like make a video or like if I'm doing a collab with somebody. But no, I'm never watching that show again. But anyways, right now, to hold me over until Lovely Calm comes out, I'm actually watching Dragon Ball Z with my husband. I got him the first four seasons for Christmas, and that was like one of his favorite shows when he was a teen. So we've been watching that, and I will say it's not bad. It's kind of weird, honestly. Like I was going into it with expectations, and my expectations were completely like obliterated. Watching DBZ. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just it's got a weird vibe about it. Like there's so many things in it that I look at my husband and I'm like, why are there aliens and people who are like half animals and things in the show just kind of chilling and people take everything in stride and spaceships crash down and people don't really question it.
It's very much
I
part
don't
of the
know.
world.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I feel like there's not a whole lot of explanation, but I guess I should have started like at the very beginning of Dragon Ball, the Dragon Ball series to understand, but it is what it is. It's not a bad show. I'm enjoying it.
Good. I'm glad. Um, for me, I just finished Kami-sama Kiss, which was honestly just a very fun time. I'm probably going to read the manga next. And I next on my list that I've like kind of started is Kimi ni Todoke, because I read the manga for that. Was it a month ago or something, Ari? Earlier this year, I was sick and I just read like 30 volumes in probably 3 days. Like my library had all of them, and so I was just like the ebook version. So I was just checking them out one after the other, and I
Nice.
was charmed and really enjoyed myself. So I think that's probably next on my list. But my husband and I are. He is watching Inuyasha for the first time.
Oh,
He's
that's such
he's
a
new
good
to
one.
right. He's new to anime. Newish, I guess. Like he didn't watch it before me. And so I'm like, we got to go back and do our early education. So we're a little bit into that. I just
Yeah,
got that your
I've
internet
been
connection is unstable pop up. No,
uh,
hang on,
uh,
friend. If we drop off again, I'm so sorry, y'all.
uh,
But we should be okay for a little while. The fan of Wi-Fi bars seems relatively high, so I'm just not gonna touch anything.
okay.
Okay.
Because other than these technical issues, I feel like things have been pretty good.
Yeah,
But
I've been
uh,
vibing. This has been fun.
yeah.
Like we could do this more than once a year. Like
Oh yeah. This I really enjoy this, and I'm glad. I hope everyone watching right now is enjoying it as well. They seem to be.
it's
Um,
good.
yeah. Inuyasha is actually my husband's favorite anime for a
Oh,
while. And then I showed him Steins Gate, and I think he said that dethroned Inuyasha for him.
wow. To all praise. There you go. That's what we're watching right now, I guess.
All right. Do you want to read the next question?
Yes, the next question comes from our good friend Jacob. Your pal, it's your pal Jacob, who's been on the podcast a couple of times, and is a delight. And he asks, "What do you guys find special about Kodocha that you can't find in other series?" Which I do think we've kind of already answered in not as many words over the course of the last live and this one. Ari, do you have a something specific for that?
Like I said, the mixture of the romance and the comedy, or the drama and the comedy, is very special in that series. And also the way that they handle the romance, I think, is very unique.
Mm.
Because I feel like romance series, sometimes things can feel a bit one-sided, but in series it doesn't feel that way. Even though Sana can be so dense sometimes
Oh, bless her.
about her own feelings,
Hmm.
but it still feels real because I mean she's really young still. I mean, who has it all figured out with how what's going on inside when they're that young? So it's a very realistic portrayal
Oh,
overcoming their trauma and their uh I guess coming of age.
mm. Yes, I would definitely agree. I do think, kind of jumping off what Ari said, I would agree. It it is so special that you've got a show that can kind of manage that balance between the comedy and drama so well, between, the character study and the romance so well, that can make you laugh and can make you cry in the same episode. It's really special. And I can't think of anything else that really does all of those things as well. Um, Maybe I haven't found it, but I do think that that's what made the series still so beloved, almost 30 years later. So, yeah. Jump into the next question.
Yeah, I'll read this one.
Cool.
This one is from Gab, and she asks, "What do you think brought Sana and Akito together? Also, how do you imagine their relationship progressing post-canon?"
Whew.
Would you like to go first?
Whew, 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 whew. Would I ever? So what brought Sana and Akito together? I do feel like that one's harder because it is such a myriad of factors. Um, I think stars aligned in some ways. I mean, they're both in the same sixth grade class, and he wanted to cause trouble, and she wanted to put a stop to it, in the most simple of terms. And maybe if they'd met in another way, in another context, nothing would have bloomed between them, but being where they were, things ended up happening. But in terms of their relationship progressing post canon, I have a lot of thoughts on this, and a lot of it is fan fiction fodder for me, stuff that I've been thinking about for a long time. One of them, I think that manga spoilers question mark for anybody who's doesn't hasn't read the manga or yet, but I do think when Akito comes back from LA for high school, they start dating, and I think that they do well with communication because they kind of had to over the course of the time that he was in LA, and the fact that it was 1997 and it's not like they could just FaceTime each other. So they were probably writing a lot of letters, writing a lot of emails, calling when they could, sending faxes, as we know from the manga. So I think that they've become better communicators. That's something that I really didn't like about Deep Clear, was that Obana indicated that they were not good at communicating. I'm like, there's no way. Sorry, they had to have gotten better at that. And I have a lot of headcanons. Like I could talk about this all day. I feel like I'm about to start spiraling. So let me know if I'm talking too much, Ari. Tell me to shut up.
Oh no, you're fine. I mean, if you want me to interrupt, I can, but
I know.
you
I
can.
guess it's a. I mean, yeah.
No one in the chat is objecting, so.
I guess that's good. But yeah, I guess in terms of like their relationship progressing, I mean, they boyfriend girlfriend now. They go on dates. They probably both go to school in and around Tokyo. If Sana decides to go to college, which she might not because she's probably just going to go straight to work. Akito obviously teaches at the dojo and then also does acupuncture, which is, I think, like a 2-year program on top of a bachelor's degree last time I researched it. So he's probably in school. And I think they live happily ever after. I don't know. I'm going to shut up now. Ari, answer the question. I talk too
Yeah,
much.
I like your answer. So yeah, I agree with the first part of this question. So the fact that let's see, what do you think brought Sana and Akito together? Again, that's really difficult to answer, I think. But the only thing that I could really come up with when I thought about that question for a little bit, um, was again, like it was definitely fate, the right place, right time thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think it was the fact that Sana was willing to look a bit deeper into Akito instead of dismissing him as a bully. Um, and I think that helped him self-reflect a lot. Um, and I feel like that's what really helped them come together by the end was he was able to understand the consequences of what he did. He was able to allow himself to kind of take a step back and be like, okay, I messed up. And that also in turn, I feel like allow himself to be closer to not only Sana, but to Tsuyoshi and his other friends as well. Um, and I guess I guess that's from Akito's perspective. I would say that's how you could say he was, I guess, drawn to her. Um, and again with Sana, I feel like it was a very slow burn, as we like to say, with
Mm-hmm.
her. Kind of coming into her own and dealing with her past and him also being very very loving and caring with her. And I think that the two things that they really learned from each other was they learned that they were worthy enough to be loved. And I
Mm,
think that's such a beautiful sentiment from this story that we can take away from.
absolutely. Yes to all of that. You are so smart and cool. Um, I would also use this as an opportunity to say, what do you think brought Sana and Akito together? watch Ari's 3, 4 parts exploring Sana and Akito's relationship video series on her YouTube channel because it slaps. And she gets
Thank you.
into all of the nitty gritty and psychological stuff that's woven into that relationship. Because, as previously mentioned, she is very smart and cool. So,
Thank you. So, spoiler alert, that series is going to be ten parts long, each for the each volume. So,
it's only
yeah,
3
it'll
right
be.
now, right? Or is it 4? How many are out
I
right
just
now?
released three this month.
There we go.
Three.
I was like, I was, I wondered if I lost count for a minute there. I'm like, I've only seen 3, but I do also remember she's recently did no, there we go. Whew.
I'm still debating whether I want to do a deep clear one as well, but I'm not sure if I want to do that one yet.
That
But
one's a tough
they'll
one.
definitely be. Yeah, it's I don't know. Like I
Yeah,
would say that I like it. I like how she wrote those two characters in that, but I do understand the criticisms of it.
yeah. It's I think it's also tough too because it's, I mean, probably 60-40 40% about Sana and Akito, 60% about the honey bitter characters. So
Hmm.
there's also that. Plus, we don't have an official English translation of it, so we're relying on a fan translation. I have the Japanese copy, but I can't read kanji. So
Yeah, same
that's
here. I actually just got a Japanese copy recently.
yeah, it's different from like the Kodocha. I mean, the Kodocha manga, it's aimed at a younger age demographic, so you've got furigana to go with the kanji, and that makes it a lot easier for me, a person who is learning, to read it. But you don't get the helping hands on the adult manga. Like, oh, they just expect that I've graduated high school and already know how to read this. And I don't. I didn't go to Japanese high school. I can't read kanji. Help.
Seriously though, I admire you for like I've noticed like on Twitter you post in that sometimes, and I'm always blown away because
Oh.
I could never I wouldn't know where to start. I guess Duolingo or something.
I mean, you've heard us all praise it. It's a pretty great starting point. Oh my god, no. I really need to stop trying to type in Japanese and tweet because I'll write it and I'll check it about 100,000 times and I'll be like, excellent, this says exactly what I want it to say. And then I'll tweet it and then it's like, nope, you messed up. And
Aw.
every single time. So I'm like, I gotta stop doing this. But I just want Obana Sensei to know how much I love her. So I'm gonna keep
Same,
trying.
same. I still reply to her on Twitter in English, but she still likes my responses. So I mean
There
that's a
you
thing.
go.
So
I love it. Oh man. Oh, should we do another question?
absolutely. I guess I can read this one here.
Yeah, from Yara.
Yara. All right. So Yara asks, do you guys prefer the manga or the anime version of Kodocha and why?
Whew. Uh, I mean, I don't think anybody's gonna be surprised by this one from Mahou Shoujo M, but it's the manga for me. Um, a little bit because it is a completely told story, and I really love the character development, how the arcs are put together. The anime really does sort of lose the plot in the second season. Um, so I'm very much a manga first girly, and always will be. So, which almost feels
Same
like an
here.
unpopular opinion sometimes. Everybody loves the anime, and I get it. I also love the anime, but I love the manga so much more.
See, I feel exactly the same way, and I don't know. I'm not dissing anybody for preferring the anime, but I guess I just I don't really understand because the
Hmm.
manga is so concise and so complete, like you said. Um, but in the chat here, Retro Nova says elementary school, the anime, and then middle school, the manga.
but we're gonna get
Thank
through
you.
this.
I think somebody gave us some hearts in the chat, so thank you. I We greatly appreciate your patience. Thank you
Truly,
so much.
y'all are so
Uh,
good.
thank Thank you, Benjamin. Thank you. And I see. Oh, thank you.
Don't deserve you. Thank you. And I'm so sorry. It's me. I don't know what's going on. We tested this a few days ago and it was fine. We're fine. Okay. Anyway,
Okay, so let's jump back into the questions.
let's go.
Okay. All right. So next question. Actually, I want to see the epic trilogy. Yes, Jacob, it is an epic
Oh.
trilogy now.
Is that our
So I
pal
don't.
Jacob?
It is. So I
Okay.
don't know if Retro Nova is here with us yet, but I did want to address his comments in the chat about the manga handling middle school better and anime handling elementary school better. I'd actually agree with that. And I
Mm,
just wanted to say that in case I got cut off in the last section of this episode here. But yeah.
mm.
Okay, so yeah. All right. Let's answer the next question.
Which is from our friend Zoo Mermer, Zoo Murmur, Zoo Mirmir, um, who asks, "What is one arc from either the manga or anime that you would want to show your past self when you are 11, or your future kid when they are 11?" Which, whew, that's a question.
Hmm.
You know, that's a
Yeah.
tough one. That's very introspective. Um, I don't know.
I actually have an
You get
answer
in
to
there then
that.
if you already know. I need a minute to think.
It would actually have to be the very first arc from the anime manga when Sana helped Akito and his family. And the reason for that is because what I would want my younger self or my future child to learn from that is I want them to understand that oftentimes when somebody is mean or hurtful, there's usually more to the story. And I want myself or my future child to understand that there's a lot more depth to people sometimes than we give them credit for. Sometimes we're so willing to like write off somebody because they're a jerk to us, or maybe they might present themselves as like being very toxic to others. But it's important that we take the time to step back and really try and understand and see the person as a whole and understand each side of a person. So that's why I would show them that first art because I feel like that's one of the things it emphasizes is, we first see this really mean boy who's a bully and is willing to pick on any kid who dares to, tell him, to stop uh or calls him a name because he's, threatening everybody. But I think it's important that we really try to figure out people because I feel like understanding each other is something that's lost on people. People don't want to take the time to learn about somebody's perspective and understand why they have that perspective. So I think that's a very important thing to learn at an early age.
That's a really good answer. And honestly, like as I'm thinking here, it's like I'm trying to think in terms of like the lessons of Kodocha, which I do think that Sana helping the Hayamas is very much one of the key story components because that's the crux of the go on living, right? Which is like sort of the refrain of the series. So I was thinking about like other arcs, Sana's birth mother arc, and thinking about like her arc with Ray, and even just like the junior high arc. And I feel like for me, if I was gonna, I think my impulse would be to echo Ari and say the same. But if I'm trying to come up with a different answer, I think I would say probably the junior high years, because I do think like everything that happens with Sana and Akito and Fuka could be very like all could have been avoided and prevented if all three of them were a bit more better communicators. And like it's hard to be a good communicator when you're in middle school because that's just
Hmm.
middle school. But also, what if you didn't have to be that way?
Yeah,
um
and just being honest with yourself too, I feel like
yeah.
is a big part of it because there's a lot of denial there too
Oh,
from
for
everybody,
sure.
I think.
Yeah, and also too, like I remember, like even during the big confession scene, Akito's like, I don't want to say it out loud; it's embarrassing, and I'm like, okay, let's unpack that. Why is it embarrassing that you have feelings for somebody who also has feelings for you? Why is it embarrassing to say that out loud? So I think that um, that would be my answer for that,
Love it.
because yeah, just saying what you feel, being honest.
Hmm.
Yeah.
There's so much we can learn from Kodocha in general.
All the time, every day.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Next
All
question.
right. Okay, so from this is from A.
Mm-hmm.
A. A. Okay,
This
that
is
was
a
lame.
very interesting. I'm actually in advance of this question, reaching and grabbing for a volume. So
That is so funny because I did that earlier because I was rereading through the questions. I was like, I know the scene, but I need to refresh.
I'm grabbing
Okay.
it in Japanese. That's what I'm doing.
Okay, so let me go ahead and read the question here. Um, so A asks, why do you think Akito finally told Sana he still loves her before he left to find Kazuyuki? So this is referring to a manga scenario. So what I had to say about that after looking it over, I think Akito, he talks about still feeling like he needs to make amends for everything that he's done in the past at this point. And I think he realized how potentially dangerous it would be to go off and find Kazuyuki in the woods. And I think that's why he told Sana that he still loved her because I think part of him knew that something bad was going to happen to him, and he might have passed away. Um,
Mm.
and I think that's all it really comes there is he knew the dangers. He wanted her to know that in case anything happened to him.
Yes, I actually completely agree with that, and I think that any debate there is about Akito not having read the last page of Kazuyuki's journal, I think kind of goes out the window when you consider the why he would tell Sana that
Hmm.
before leaving. I do think that he thinks that he might not come back, and that's why. Which is such an intense and really good arc, and I wish that had been adapted properly in the anime. But here we are. Uh, Good question though.
I
Uh,
agree.
and then, do we want to do Luna's question next?
Yeah, you
This
can read
is
it since I
I'm
think I read A's question.
think you did, yeah. So Luna asks, "Who is your favorite New York arc original character, and do you think they could somehow be in the manga?"
I think we have the same
Um,
answer for this
is it going
one.
to be okay? Let's say it at the same time. Three,
One,
two,
two,
one.
2, 1. Bernie!
Bernie, Bernie, hands down.
Yes.
Bernie is everything. Naysayers get out. Bernie is the reason for the arc. Bernie is the reason for the season. Um,
I agree.
I want Bernie
100%.
to be Sana's stepmom.
See, that's so this question also asks like, okay, how would Bernie fit into like the manga? And I was thinking like Bernie is like a really close friend of Misako who lives in America and like she comes to visit every once in a while and yeah, she's like kind of like a like the crazy aunt type character who's
Oh
like
yeah.
really like eccentric and like they get into like wacky situations like Sana Misako and Bernie, like the ultimate trio.
I like that. So for me, I think probably once a week at minimum about that very random scene from when Misako and Bernie first meet in New York and they immediately kiss, and then start going on a tour of New York City. I think about it all the time, and I'm like, yes, absolutely. And you know what? You know what Kadocha's missing, honestly, is more queer shipping. I'll say it. We don't have enough queer ships in this, so Bernie and Misako, absolutely.
There you go.
Fit the bill. They can be girlfriends. It'll be perfect.
All
Maybe
right.
Misako will wear a very crazy hat to her next wedding. That's my take.
I love it.
Thank you. Oh man. So I
That's all our
think
questions, huh?
yeah, that's all the questions that people asked in advance, although we'll definitely still take anything that pops up in the chat on the live.
And I want to take this moment real quick to thank everybody who submitted a question and is here in the chat tonight because
Yes.
it's been we've had some technical difficulties, but yeah, thank you guys for being so patient and getting through these difficulties with us because
Oh,
it's been anxiety inducing because of that.
just a smidgen. Yes, agreed. Thank you everybody for your patience. It is my fault, and I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. I'm doing my best to fix it. So thank you all for your patience and for hanging out with us tonight. It's been really fun. Um, do we want to talk about some of the things people said about why they love Kadocha, or jump into like the results of the favorite thing that happened in 2023 for Kadocha poll?
Yeah, let's do the poll.
Okay, so we asked people who submitted the questionnaire, what their favorite thing that happened in 2023 for Kodocha was, giving them three options, which were Discotheque releasing season 2 on Blu-ray, Miho Obana getting on social media, on Twitter and on Instagram, and new merchandise, because we got the Kodocha pillows this year. And then we also left a space for other to see if there were any other things, that perhaps were not part of the poll. And drumroll please. Discotheque releasing season 2 on Blu-ray won by a very narrow margin, closely followed by Miho Obana getting on Twitter and Instagram. Although I don't know about you, Ari, I didn't participate in this poll, so
I didn't either.
my vote would go to Miho Obana getting on social media.
Well, Discotheque's still in the lead because I vote Discotheque.
Ah, there we go. That's fair. That's literally fair. Because you know what? We had been waiting probably 20 years for for somebody to release season 2. So it was a big exciting thing that happened in our community, that's for sure. But let me tell you, I did not
Yeah,
expect
I've
Obana to
been
take to
waiting for that for
Twitter.
a long time.
Yeah, no, that's definitely fair. Because you had the
Me
OG
neither.
DVDs and stuff too.
I Oh yeah, yeah, with the really bad subtitles.
God love them. So yes, that was everybody's favorite thing that happened in 2023 for Kadocha. Um, gotta say though, Obana being on Twitter, I was not on my bingo card at all. I never thought that she would ever join social media or take to it the way that she has. Um,
Yeah, she's been posting a lot.
yeah,
Like
she's
I'd
active
say it's almost every day, and
at least.
she's been posting Kodocha things almost every day. She doesn't do it. I think she's kind of dropped off a little bit in the last
Hmm.
week or so, but I know she's been like retweeting like other artists' posts and things like that.
That's fair. Or even like getting drunk with Mihono Fuji and posting
Love
their
it.
doodles. And so new Akito art and new Sana art for the first time in what, 5 years? So very exciting stuff. And also she just posted the double page spread for volume 2. Um and I emotional crying. I've never seen it in color before. I had no idea what colors it was. So that's just, I'm never gonna get over the fact that she's posting so much Kodocha art that I've never even seen before. It's a great time to be on the internet.
Oh yeah, it's a great time to be a Kodocha fan. I mean,
Truly.
like this, I just feel like the community's just really come together in the last few years, and that's what that's why we did this live show to, kind of celebrate all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it makes me really happy because again, Kodocha is such a special series to me. It's helped me through darkest times. And I'm so thankful to be a part of this, and I'm not gonna cry right now.
Honey,
I'm not gonna cry.
don't do it. Because if you start crying, I'll start crying.
Uh,
We're just gonna move on. It's gonna be fine. So 2024 wish list and predictions for Kodocha. We pulled everybody who responded to the questionnaire, and we have our own guesses as well. Um, and we can go through some of those. I'd say probably top of everybody's wish list is a reboot. That came up multiple times, quite frequently.
mhm.
Which all of us, yes, yeah, we all want that. And this being the 30th anniversary of the manga, maybe
You never know. I
I'll
mean,
leave
crazier
our
things have happened. Obana has joined Twitter,
Obama
so
joined
there's
Twitter, so
that.
yeah, hell has frozen over. Yeah, no, I'll let Ari be the cheerful, sunshiny, hopeful person in this one. I'll stay back here, cautiously optimistic, but that's just me. Um, my hope, and this is not one that was echoed as frequently from people on the in the questionnaire, but I'm still really holding out for a manga reprint in translation, new translation, maybe from Seven Seas or one of those smaller, more boutique licensing companies, because it's hard to get a hold of a Kodocha manga legally these days. It just is. And I would love it if that
So
was not the case.
somebody mentioned wanting like a Kodocha art book. And
Yeah.
that actually made me think. I had a dream last night that I went to this bookstore for like this event. I don't know what it was. It was like a signing for something. And I was like looking through the anime and manga section, and there was like a section dedicated to just like art books for different series. And I saw this one for Kadocha on the shelf, and I grabbed it, and I was like, I've never seen this before. And then when I woke up, I was sad because it
Uh,
doesn't exist.
that is extremely tragic because, yeah, I hate when you have dreams that are like so real like that. But also, that's probably like the real indication that you were dreaming, is that it's a piece of Kodocha merch you've never seen before.
So yeah, I definitely need an art book now.
Ah, that'd be so cool. I'd be all over that. That'd be really, really neat. I would love that. But we'll see. We'll see. Um, the other thing that some people are hoping for is just Kodocha becoming streamable, via like being available on Crunchyroll or something. I kind of
I
feel
think it
like
should be.
I agree. I would really love that. I have no idea who we need to start harassing to make that happen, but dang, would that be awesome? Because yeah, it's that's going to be the key to getting more people on our team. I think, is making it easier to access, and if it's streamable, that takes care of that.
Hmm.
So those
Getting
are
the word out.
the three cries of everybody's hearts. And I actually don't think that those are particularly grand or insane wishes. I feel like those are all very much within the realm of possibility. Um, so fingers crossed. 2024 is going to be our year. This is the year Kadocha turns 30. Something's going to happen.
It has to. It just has to.
Ugh, I know. I really want that. Uh, there we go. Oh man. Oh, there was another thing that somebody said, which was just a 2024 wish list for Kadocha. It was just more people joining the community. And that was something that was echoed a couple of times in the questionnaire, is that, the community is small or rather niche. And to that, I would say, like, hey, friends, who are you showing Kadocha? Like, I think that this is a an opportunity for everybody to find two friends and force them to watch the series and expand our ranks.
Do it.
Yeah, do it. It's like we can't do it alone, friends. Gotta help us.
No, this is the fight. This is the fight for our lives here.
Truly. Oh man. So there were those things. And then we asked everybody what they love about Kodocha. We could read some of those, unless there's anything in the chat. I can't see the chat, so I don't know what's going on in there.
Um, there's not really any questions or anything.
Okay. Just people
Yeah.
agreeing with us because we're right about stuff all the time. Because that would be understandable. I would get that, yeah. Okay. So asking people what they love about Kodocha, I would say, let me look through really, really briefly. One, two, three. I would say solid like 40% of these responses are just everybody loves Sana.
Sauna's the
Um,
best.
she is the best. I love that everybody and it also seems too that a lot of people see themselves in Sana, which I think is really cool. She's a character that people feel really represented in, and I think that's really awesome. So good for Sana. Get it, girly.
Is
Do
there
you,
anything else you wanted to add from that? Or
I mean, not
uh,
necessarily, unless you had a. I was gonna say, somebody said, Sana, how much I wanted to be her when I was little, when I watched the show at her age. Sana as a person is a whole mood. I don't think there are any other female protagonists like Sana, which, true.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
She is a mood. Absolutely.
She is a mood, absolutely. Um, you know, there's also yeah, just everybody just loves our girly. Although I have to say, we did get one response to that question, what do you love about Kodocha? And somebody just said Fuka. And I was like, you are so brave. I love you so much. Like, you're my new favorite person.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, wow, all right.
Cheers.
It's like we talked about, it's very refreshing to see that
It
because
is.
Fuka gets a lot of hate.
She
And I'll
does.
be honest, I hated her the first time I read and watched Kodocha. But she's grown on me. Like every single time I reread or rewatch, it's like she grows on me just a little bit more. So now
Oh,
I actually respect her as a character now for sure.
oh man. Yeah, I'm totally with you. When I was 13 watching this for the first time, yeah, I hated Fuka violently. I have fic that I wrote as a very young preteen teenager that is very Fuka is the villain oriented. And I think that with some time and perspective, she's been a character that I've really kind of done a 180 on, and I just have really come to love her. So I was very delighted to see that I'm not alone in that because friends, every time I post something, not even positive about Fuka, just like neutral about Fuka, even, I lose followers. Like, it's 2024 and people still violently hate this 13-year-old girl. It's just interesting. Just an observation.
It is what it is.
Indeed.
The best we can do is, have discussions like this and, maybe hopefully it will allow people to see the other sides of her. Because I mean, it's not great. When she's first introduced, because she's very like that whole like her fake dating Akito starts pretty fast. So I get
It
why it's
does.
like I get why people are rubbed the wrong way from that. But again, it takes some time to really digest that whole section of the story to kind of be like, okay, I I get Fuka now, you know?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And poor homegirl is really just like a victim of Sana and Akito's extremely terrible communication. Like, and I do love that scene where, you know, she's like, she asks Sana, she's like, did you do anything wrong? And Sana's like, I don't think so. And she's like, okay, well, neither did I. And I'm like, yeah, nobody here is at fault. This is just like a thing that happened, and it's middle school, and, you know, it is what it is. So,
Yep.
there we go. Um, there's also several people stated that they love the characters just generally, which absolutely, they love how big the character faces are, how expressive they are, the goofiness, the writing, which absolutely will echo. And I think that that's another one of the reasons that this show has had the staying power that it's had. Thank you to every person who's jumped around on YouTube with us
Yeah.
today. We're really sorry. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, we really do appreciate it. But we are going to be wrapping up now, which is funny because I was literally about to ask if anyone in the chat had any questions, and then Wi-Fi went out.
Sure did. Yep, I'm with you. It was yeah.
Yeah.
Just we had pretty much reached the end of our questionnaire content, and we're just gonna see if anybody had any other last minute things to ask or be answered before calling it a night and letting everybody enjoy their Fridays.
Yeah. I hope everybody had a good Friday. Thank you guys for coming. And like I said, I feel like I had a lot of fun. I don't know about you
True.
guys, but I get a vibe that everybody had a good time. So,
Hoping so. I think so, despite in spite of our technical shenanigans.
all right. Do you have anything else to add?
I don't think so. We have a Valentine's Day special coming out in February, which is going to focus on Sana and Akito. So get pumped for that. And we have a very special guest joining us for that one as well. So that's going to be a good time. And then, yeah, just sort of the usual stuff. If you're interested in joining us on 19 O'Clock News, a Kodocha podcast as a guest, please feel free to fill out the survey that is linked in the description box below, and we will get back to you on that. I think we did have a few applications come through that I have not responded to yet, but so just know that I've received them and I see you, and I know I need to send you an email. Things have just been crazy. And I think that's it for housekeeping. Do you have anything?
No,
Okay,
I'm good.
cool. In which case,
I
see
would like
you.
to say,
Oh,
wait, I would like to address one thing in the chat here. So Retro Nova says, why not make a separate playlist for the live content? I think that's a good idea. I just wanted to let you know.
perfect. Yeah, we can do that. Whatever you want, friend. Retro Nova can
I
have
think
whatever he wants forever because he's a true
I
friend,
think it would
a gentleman, and a
definitely,
scholar.
yes. I think it would definitely make things more organized as well, especially with
I know.
our shenanigans tonight.
Yes, just a smidgen. So, yes, I'll make a playlist for that. Honestly, still thinking that I might just download all of the videos and then stick them in one video and also upload that for anybody who's not
Good
here
idea.
tonight but might want to listen later and not want to listen in 4 parts like this is an anime video on YouTube in 2006.
We're coming full circle here in the
We
conversation.
really are. I feel like we talked about that at the beginning too, so that's kind of fun.
All right.
All right, let's call it. It's time. Okay. Love you all very, very much. See you in
Love
the
you all.
server and around the internet.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.